Well, I was in this writing class, and the ladies, she told us to write about some things that happened. So the subject she had gave us that day was called These Conflicting Times. I wrote it back in April of 2011. I said, the word conflict brings to mind the phrase to be or not to be. Is that the question? For life itself is conflict. Coming to the world is conflict. Getting up and deciding what to do is that day is a conflict. To wear, what to say, or how to be. My mind travels back to the time when I had the most devastating decision to make for me and my children. I was being abused, a young mother, and then a wife, which was in itself a mind-altering time that I had to come to grips with. I would sit on my sofa and ponder as to how and when I would make my move. It's not a question of should I, but a life-preserving decision that I had to make. That night before it happened, I went to a phone booth on the corner and told a friend that I had to do it, leave and go with my children to another city. I had no one to turn to, nowhere to go in my hometown. So the next day, my mother-in-law and my sister-in-law came by to visit and chat for a while, oblivious of my turmoil going through my mind. But when they all left to go out for a while, along with my husband, I knew that I had to make my move. I immediately looked for money, and at that time, paper food stamps, which was hidden from me. As I frantically looked around everywhere, I found it in the Bible of all places. He had hid it. Then I grabbed what I could of my belongings and my children, of which 2 were at school and the one baby with me at home. Then I sat in the chair near the front door, waiting for my 2 oldest children to come home. My baby in my lap, sitting quietly with me, the clock ticking away the long awaiting minutes, wondering if he would come home before the children. Suddenly, I heard the children running and laughing down the street as I heard them playfully coming home. As I opened the door and I saw my children's faces, I said to them, "Come on, we're leaving." My children knew that I was serious and that their mother had a task at hand to do. We grabbed our bags and put them in a cart as they already had their coats on. I grabbed my baby, put him on my hip, and we were gone. My house was on the end of the street near an open field. As we crossed it, the street that was to the middle near some buildings, immediately a cab pulled up from nowhere, which I had not called. And I still think about to this day how and where it came from. And as I put my children in that cab and threw the cart away and told the driver to take me to the train station because I knew I would or could be found at the nearby bus station. When we got on the train, I had my son in my lap and was staring out the window as trees and buildings were passing by fast. My other 2 children were off exploring the train, and there was a gentleman who must have realized something wrong because he brought my children something to eat as my baby was nursing in my lap. And yet I was thinking I was entering yet another chapter to my life, which I knew that I would be handled faithfully and cautiously. The end.